In this documentary, we will hear from young people about what they think about their local area, about how it has influenced them growing up and their path to adulthood. We'll hear from them about what they want done to make Walsall and Sandwell a better place for them, for young people everywhere. This is our hopes for the future, the civic journey of young people in Walsall. We are going to explore the main influences in people's lives, how these change over the course of their civic journeys, and why they do or don't interact with their local communities as they reach adulthood.
I'd describe Walsall as a pretty rough place. There's lots of homeless people in town, people who are addicted to certain substances, and although you can't really blame Walsall for that, there's very little help for the people who actually need it.
It's relatively okay, and it's not too far from the green sort of spaces area, though there's a lot more green areas. You can just have a walk and get to one with nature, really. And at the same time as well, there's a good transport system. You can get to Birmingham or West Bromwich, Sutton, Coalfield. So it's a quite a well-connected area, really.
There isn't much to do in Walsall. You have the Arboretum, the gallery, Levy Museum and the Gala, and if you've got children then you've got little hooligans, but other than that there isn't really anything to do.
I grew up in West Bromwich in the early 2000s and it wasn't a very nice place. A lot of it was run down and the tram line served as a lifeline for anything outside of local town shopping. The renovation of New Square changed that, adding in modern shop, cinemas, restaurants and turning the town into somewhere I hang out with my friends.
I'm at a member of a social club, Grey Bar Con Club, and it's probably the place that's helped to jumpstart my singing career, really. And Grey Bar Library is also a very good place as well. They also helped me with getting voluntary work. I was a volunteer there for these 2-3 years. Before being able to find a job with Walsall Council.
Walsall has a rich history and the area shows with historic buildings everywhere you turn. It's an interesting place to grow up, but it's not adapting well to the modern age. And the best part about it for young people is the ease of travelling elsewhere.
It's a decent area. I wouldn't say it's the best area. It's definitely got some affluence to it. There's opportunities to succeed. There's job opportunities. There's opportunity for personal business growth, things like that. But in terms of socially, you get the same types of groups. The term ASBO is used quite a lot, and antisocial behaviour is something that's frequent. So in terms of my area, I'd say it's about average. You get it all up and down the country, really. Everywhere has good areas and bad areas, positive influences, negative influences. We get good news, bad news. We get a variety of things.
I would say I don't really go out much, so I don't enjoy it, but there isn't very much stuff to do out there. Growing up, again, there isn't really much out there, so growing up was just school, education, college, uni. It weren't much of an experience in terms of socialising.
So I'm at the age now where I'm starting to enjoy spending my money a little bit more. I don't enjoy socialising with my friends specifically. I actually enjoy seeing life for what it is, getting out there, experiencing different things. So for me personally, what I do for fun, although in my own time, my downtime, I like to read and play computer games, things like that, when I actually have fun socially, I like to go out and play pool, I like to do bowling, go out for food and drinks, and a lot of that stuff in the area is the same sort of venues we go to. So my current place of work, I actually frequent when I'm out on a weekend and stuff. It's not something I enjoy doing per se, because it feels like I'm going back to work even though I'm socially there. It's just, there's not many other places for me to do that activity in the same kind of environment.
I'm not as creative as I was before I had children, but I've always had an interest in most things that are creative. My art teacher in secondary school was the one who actually inspired me. When nobody else believed in me, he did, and obviously he made a lot of things easier for me. He was the one that actually pushed me into passing my art exams, and I had to work really hard to do it, but it was my favourite lesson.
So for me, growing up at the beginning as a kid, I met people who were local to my area. I met quote-unquote neighbours, to say. So my parents, myself and all my brothers, we all were very integrated into the community when we were younger. As we started to grow up, people change, places change, mindsets change. So as I was growing up and went into junior school, primary school and junior school, because I'd moved to because I went to a school in a different area to where I was actually living, I got to meet more people. I got to change my my social circle quite a few times. It was really positive for me, actually. I got the opportunity to not only meet people who were potentially more fortunate than myself in their upbringing and things, I also met people who had generally just a variety of backgrounds.
I don't feel like I'm shaped much by my communities and other stuff around me, more because I haven't really been out there much. Educational institutes have shaped me more. I've been very work-based, and it's always been school, college, uni, that sort of thing.
When I was trying to look for a job several years ago, the job centre wasn't really very good at all in West Bromwich. Luckily, I was part of a group. It was a sort of helping young people find jobs, and it was a 6-week course which included activities and then a 6-week placement. And we would then also, one of those days, go as part of the group into somewhere and look about how to find jobs. I applied for a job with Walsall Council. I was given the chance to have a year placement. That year placement then turned into a part-time job, and then since the pandemic it's then turned into an apprenticeship. So it was just a bit of luck, really. I managed to end up with Walsall Council. I
went to Wednesfield High School. We had a majority population of white and Indian Asian students. Myself and one other boy in my year throughout the entirety of Wednesfield actually had black in them. So myself, my dad's white, my mum's black. My friend, he had both black parents. He was the only male in my year that was a black lad. I had 2 black females in my entire year. So in the sense of personal social guidance and growth, there wasn't much in terms of friends. There wasn't many people I could be friends with that had my personal experiences. And then when you talk about teachers, for example, a lot of the teachers, no discredit to them, they were white teachers, so they didn't have the same understanding or even experiences as people of colour would have to be able to guide them.
I know people who feel like they hit adulthood at different times in their lives, but that will be down to personal circumstance. An adult, I think, when you're independent and you're sort of standing on your own feet rather than relying on parents or guardians and people around you. I do feel older, but again, yeah, it's hard to. It depends on the person themselves.
I think that since over the decades, whatever, really, it's I think more young people depend on their parents and grandparents or carers or foster parents, whatever, for help. So yeah, I don't think young people are as independent as they used to be, and I don't think really that's a good a thing sometimes, because a lot of people sort of don't get the life lessons really they should be getting compared to people back in like 1950s and 60s when they used to grow up a lot quicker.
It could be improved if there was actually help for these people who need it, and had more things for everyone to do, especially for parents with small children, as children get bored very easily and they complain a lot.
I think there needs to be more youth-led steering groups to help decide where local money is spent, to ensure that we get the most of it. Only young people know what young people need.
Well, I would think probably more clubs for young people to meet up, so they can talk about themselves, about their life, etc. Because, well, in Great Bar there is a sort of a negative side of it. There aren't actually many clubs, particularly for people my age, either they're 18 to 20s and etc. A lot of it is quite an older community, so for younger people to mix and come together probably would be helpful. Yeah, people just to form new relationships, new friendships, everything, to know how they feel. That's something I think Sandwell definitely really needs to get by, really, or advertise it, promote it more in the area, and also more things for people to get out and do. Clubs for people, again, in their 20s, 30s, to meet up, go for walks, or do things, really. A lot of clubs and groups are very much an older people type order, and it probably scares off a few younger people from joining, because again they probably think they're the same age as their parents and it puts them off to join. So a more sort of accessible things for younger people to do.
I do think there are gaps, but I guess opportunities for other job sectors, like for example the creative industry, they need to be brought into areas that less people are in. That's how you draw more people in.
You know, the youth zone, the youth centre, I wouldn't build more of those. I'd expand the ones that are already there. I'd give back to the community, you know, like social clubs and stuff like that were once open. I'd actually go around and give those people a lump cash and say to them, look, I want you all to host an event, and I want you to do something, not a fun day for the kids. I want you to do something for the kids. I want you to give them something. Whether you have to give a group of lads £10 each and tell them, look, I want you to come into this community centre and I want you to sit down for 2 hours on a day and just conversate with someone about your future. We'll give you £10 to do it. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but for all you know, taking that child off the street that day, sitting him down in front of someone who can actually help him, might light that spark, and he might think, do you know what? I could be a business owner, I could make a difference, I could be a mentor.
Now, everything that the young people have said in these documentaries, everything is true. However, I think they were a bit reticent in telling you the whole truth. I know that the current climate, financially and economical and business-wise, it's not a very favorable one. However, if we don't invest in our future, and these young people are our future, we won't have one. A lot of the young people that we spoke with were very vocal to identify the lack of opportunities in the Black Country. Areas like Wolverhampton, Bilston, Dudley, Walsall, West Brom. However, when the time came for us to record, they were very unwilling perhaps to participate, because in a way they were afraid that they will be put in a category of people who complain, or, oh, why are you saying all this online, or why are you the one who's complaining, or what are people gonna think. And they tried their best to do it, but I don't think that the final result was a very fair representation, or what we have noticed over the past how many years.
You've heard our stories, you've heard our experiences, you've heard what we want to change in our community. We hope that you listen to us, and we hope that together we can make a lasting impact for young people across all of our local communities.